All right, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my weekly review for the third last episode of Game of Thrones. This is for Season 8, Episode 4. And spoiler warning, if you guys have not seen this episode yet, you definitely want to watch it before you watch this review. Oh man, so another absolutely insane episode for Game of Thrones, the third final episode of the series. We only have 2 episodes left, and looks like they're going to be good. We'll do our predictions after this video, right after, to say what we think is going to happen in episode 5. Man, this is crazy, dude. 2 final episodes left for Game of Thrones. The pedal is to the metal in this episode. The pacing has been crazy fast. We start things off in this one at Winterfell, and we kind of end off at King's Landing, I guess, or at the gates. you know, It was an incredible episode all the way through. I didn't expect to see the part at the end, which did surprise me. Like I said, spoiler warning, because we still have those 2 episodes left, and I expect the battle, now that we know it's going to be all-out war, basically. We expect it to go, the 2. Probably at least all of episode 5 most likely will be all battling and all the different crazy stuff that's going on, and then the very final episode, maybe it will spill over into that a little bit, and then with it being the final episode of the series, the back half of that episode might be kind of the all-out finale, where it's kind of sort of like somewhat like this episode, but after the last war is over, the final battle is over. So man, so let's go through part by part and give our thoughts on this one, because it was rather nuts. We start things off after the long night, of course, has ended, and they've been successful at Winterfell. We see them doing a funeral for everybody, which, with the fire and everything, which makes a lot of sense, that they're happy that they won the long night and that battle's over, but there's still, of course, this last war, this final battle to come, and they have to say goodbye to their dead. That they lost during the battle of the long night. So we lose the battle for Winterfell. We lost Jorah, so Dany's saying goodbye to him, Theon, and all of the others that are there. And then you have Jon, who gives a nice speech to their memory, and they go up and they light up the everybody. So they do they finish off the funeral. So then we go from that into kind of a happy period, sort of, where everyone's getting wasted and everyone's getting drunk. And you have a whole bunch of things happening in this episode. We have a couple different, things getting set up here. So we have of course, Cersei is there, so she's a threat, obviously, and a major threat, as she always has been. And she looks like she's more formidable or stronger than maybe ever right now. Coming off very strong at the end here, at the end of the episode, which we'll get to. But we have everyone kind of drinking. They're having a good time. They just won the long night. And you have people kind of hooking up. We have some final kind of hookups here between Brienne and Jaime. And we've got Gendry, who proposes to Arya. And she sort of... She cares for him, but she is no one, right? So she kind of tells him, she's not going to be his lady in that way, and that's not going to work. And she kind of leaves afterwards, which I like, because then she can kind of go and do her assassin thing. She's with the Hound right now, but are they still? Well, maybe I shouldn't say right now, because the ending part sped things up a lot. There were some skips in there, so I would take it they're probably pretty close now to King's Landing, and her probably send her in, or she'll go in to try and see if she can cross off that other name on her list, Cersei, right? That kind of, is that the final? Oh, she's probably got her list was pretty long, so there's probably others, but the Mountain's probably on there too. And he's sort of dead, kind of, but he's still lomping heads and chopping heads off and stuff, right? So, kind of brutal, but so Arya goes on her way to King's Landing, and so does, the Hound. I think that's where he's going, but I don't know. It'd be cool to see kind of the Clegane Bowl. Hopefully these last 2 episodes we might see the final kind of battle between the Hound and the Mountain, but I don't know how much we can expect to see in these last couple episodes, because we just saw the Long Night, which was just like the most action heavy episode, or at least the most craziness that I've ever seen in an episode. So I don't know how much they've left for these other few episodes, or these last two that we're going to see here, considering they've done so much already. I'm just not sure how big this final battle is going to be and how many people are going to be involved, but I'm starting to even think that maybe Cersei will be taken out via assassination. It probably can't be Arya, though, because Arya was the one to take out the Night King. So from just from that perspective, you wouldn't want it to be kind of repetitive and have her do the same thing with Cersei. So I don't think it'll be her, and we'll discuss that more in the predictions video of who we think is going to be to actually take out Cersei. But you have them all starting to move towards King's Landing after they have a good time. Some good scenes here with Tormund leaving, so Jon wants Ghost to go with him to the True North, and some funny stuff here is they're all getting drunk and they're kind of just messing around with each other and having a good time. But Daenerys is not feeling so good, because everyone's getting wasted and she sees how much everybody loves Jon. She's not in the best position right now. Her army has been kind of decimated by the Night King, and so have the armies of the North. In terms of our good guys right now are kind of in a bad situation. They were able to beat the Night King with the White Walkers, but just barely, and now they also have to deal with Cersei, right? And she has just been chilling in the back, relaxing, getting ready, building up. Lots of ballistas, getting ready to take on the dragons, getting ready to take on what they're going to bring. And we'll get, like I said, we'll get into that in a bit here. So I like the scenes between Jaime and Brienne. That's cool. Arya and Gendry, also good stuff. And Jon and Dany. So the question of whether or not he's going to tell, so he decides that he does. And again, since we only have so many episodes this season, pedal to the metal, they're not wasting much time with it. It's a storyline, it's there, it's been ongoing in between the battles here of this season, season 8, and now Jon basically decides that he can't hold it back, and I kind of like it because it has some parallels to what happened with Eddard and whether or not he could hold that secret. Now, Eddard did hold the secret in order to protect Jon. He didn't tell anybody. He didn't even tell Jon. He did say that at one point he would tell him, right? Maybe he wasn't specific about it in his final scene with Jon there when they part ways, that he is his son, and that one day he would kind of tell him. Now, he never got a chance to tell him because of just the way everything went and him being killed at King's Landing by Cersei and Joffrey, way back in season 1. But there were some cool parallels here for Jon. It's like, okay, is he going to do the same thing as Eddard did and kind of keep it a secret and not tell anybody in order to protect everyone? In this case, Jon does not do the same thing as Eddard. Is it foolish? Maybe. But we'll see. It's kind of something that's building. And if they do defeat Cersei, which I expect that they will, but she looked really strong at the end of this episode, right? So, with that being the case, if they do get by her, they still have kind of the discussion of who Daenerys wants to rule. Jon doesn't want to, but the people probably will want Jon. They probably won't want Daenerys. So it's a tough. It's a tough situation. You have Varys and you have Tyrion discussing it, and not sure what exactly they're going to do. Tyrion stands by Daenerys and is willing to put himself in harm's way, even as we see here near the end. And Varys is he serves the realm. Tyrion's kind of calling him a bullshitter, right? He's like, what is that? Bullshit, right? But no, Varys is doing what he thinks is best for everybody. He's considering everybody in the situation. And he's unethical in that commitment. So he'll stab people in the back or do what he has to do for the realm. This again goes back to the very first season in the conversation between him and Eddard when Eddard was in the dungeon, right? So we get all this stuff going through. Jon decides to tell, or has Bran tell them. So Bran tells Arya and tells Sansa, so they know now. And Sansa is very weary of Cersei, right? She's I want to say she's scared of her, but she certainly knows that Cersei is fearsome and that Cersei will be ready. She wants Daenerys to wait a little while to let everyone heal up and get everyone ready. And Daenerys just kind of wants to go right in. And that's what she does, and she pays for it big time. Okay, so we have Highgarden and Bronn, which I was pretty disappointed with Bronn in this one because he comes across as just this greedy asshole that doesn't really care about what he's a sellsword, but him and Tyrion have been through a lot of stuff. and Jaime as well too. And you'd like to think that they would have developed some kind of relationship here. Now I know it's pretty business because he's trying to see if Tyrion will double it and give him Highgarden if they win. He's basically sort of maybe playing both sides a little bit here, but he does think that Daenerys is going to win because of what he saw in season 7 during that battle. So he's like, well, screw that. I still think the Dragon Queen's probably going to win. So he's kind of playing both sides. So he doesn't do it. So he doesn't kill Jaime and kill Tyrion, but at the same time, he's pretty cold to them, and he's pretty harsh in this one to them. And he just, to me, comes across as just like this greedy effer. And, it's not cool, because I like Bronn, but I would think that he would have a better relationship at this point with Jaime and with Tyrion. I'm sad to see that it's all business with him, and it sounds like maybe it always was. Very, very kind of sad to see that. But people are on edge. He's not sure exactly what to do either. Cersei, as we saw later on, she is kind of ready for Daenerys, about as ready as she probably could be. Maybe overly ready, considering how many men Daenerys and Jon have actually lost here. So it's it's a tough call to the end. It's going to be exciting all the way down the wire. But I was disappointed in this one to see how Bronn treated Jaime and treated Tyrion. It was kind of made me sad considering their past. So we get a few scenes where they're saying goodbye to each other. Like I said, Tormund earlier, and there's also Sam and Gilly with Jon, Ghost, and all that, which was some sad stuff to see him go. I was kind of sad that he didn't bring Ghost with him, but it makes sense. He doesn't want to put Ghost in harm's way, and Ghost, the Wolves haven't done so well every time they went south, right? So it's probably better if he lets him. He probably trusts his safety more with Tormund in the north than he does bringing him with him. So I get that. That makes sense. But it's sad to see him go, because it's cool. Tyrion has a great line here. He says that we still have to take King's Landing. Maybe Cersei will kill us all. That will solve all of our problems, right? So I love that line from him. I thought it was really great as we see things get kind of closer here to the end. And then we have so the dragons are flying, and they're doing what's expected. They're doing what's predictable. Now, here's where we get into some big-time problems, and this is always the way it goes. It's always the one you don't see, or it's the information that you don't know. And, what Daenerys is doing is pretty standard. It's pretty standard to what Cersei and the others would expect. It's predictable, I suppose. And so they come into range with their very small, amount of ships that they have. Of course, Euron has a good part of the Greyjoy fleet that he built, right? Yara's probably got some too, but probably not as much. And then they come into range, so they got both the dragons. Now, I did predict this one. If you guys have seen my predictions videos in the last couple weeks, I did say that I thought there would be one last dragon. I thought it would be Drogon. I almost thought the other dragon fell during the long night, but he didn't. But now he has at the hands of Euron. And the ships and their, because again, Qyburn and the others, they found an answer for the dragons, right? So you have the mechanized. They've had the time to prepare. They've had the time to build them up, and they have lots of them. We got to see them at the end too. So they have some on land, at the castle, like all the way down on the walls, and then they have, of course, some on the ships as well too. So they sink basically all of Daenerys's fleet. And really, and then they take Missandei, which is sad for Grey Worm. And then the final kind of scene here as we go through, we have kind of the meeting where they decide to kind of meet and one more time ask Cersei to surrender, I guess. But you see the Unsullied is like, there's not much there. Jon and the others are coming, but they've got Drogon, so there's that, and they can't. So they come there, and you have kind of the final scene, which is the face-off scene in this episode. It's sad to see the dragon go down, the other one, and then the part at the end here where we have kind of them walking up Missandei in chains, basically, and Tyrion kind of pleads with Cersei over her baby to not be so cruel as she has been a lot of times. Tyrion has seen kind of a softer side to Cersei. He knows that she's not always a monster. But socially, she kind of is. Socially, in front of others, she basically is. In private, maybe not. She comes across in a different way. But socially, she's, in this one, a lot like Joffrey, right? A lot like how Joffrey was. And she just freaking kills her. So, luckily, she didn't kill Tyrion. She didn't let all the arrows fly down on Tyrion, because he would have had no chance of basically escaping at that point. But it was a pretty sad scene at the end when the mountain, does it, and, her final word is Dracarys. So I like that. That was cool. But I'm very disappointed with kind of the way things have kind of gone through here. I like that Jaime leaves, and he leaves in such a way where I like the Queenslayer theory somewhat. We'll talk about it more in the predictions for the last couple episodes here. But he leaves Brienne. Brienne doesn't want him to because she knows he's putting himself in harm's way like crazy. And he's only got the one hand and everything, so he's not that formidable right now. But as he does return, as he does kind of come back, we'll see if he gets an opportunity here. Cersei may trust him to some degree, or at least not think that he's got the the cojones to stab her in the back and be a Queenslayer here. But we'll see. Maybe he will try. Maybe Euron will kill him. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens here at the end. And again, we'll discuss more in the predictions. But I did like about the hateful part and him playing it off as so is he. But I do agree with Brienne that he is a good man, and I think he's just saying that to her. But I think that he'll see if he's got a shot here, because it does seem like Cersei's in a really good spot, considering they only have one dragon left. They've got Jon and the rest of the army, but the army doesn't appear to me to be that strong. I thought they would get some more reinforcements before they went in, but apparently, based on what Varys was saying there at their discussion, it's about even. So it's about even on even. They have about the same number of men. The two dragons was great, but now they're down to one, so it's kind of tricky in the end here. So Dragonfire, will she burn the capital? Well, I don't think she'll have much of a choice, to get Cersei out of there. She's not, as we saw here at the end, she's not going to have any chance, any choice here. I like that Qyburn comes out to discuss with Tyrion. Visually, it's an amazing scene, right? You've got Daenerys, she's there. You've got Cersei, she's there with Euron and the others. And Qyburn comes out in his robe, right, in his black, as black as you can be robe. Dr. Frankenstein comes out. Tyrion comes forward and discusses with him. Tyrion's not getting any info at all, so he walks up closer to Cersei and he tries to kind of beg her to not allow this to go this way. But Cersei's very confident in their ability to. They took down one dragon. You can kind of see it. The army's not looking that impressive. That Cersei's not gonna surrender to something like that. She's gonna figure, okay, come and take it from me, right? That's basically the way it is. Help me save the city. And that's it. And then anger at the end is Daenerys' face as she sees Missandei, her loyal subject, fall in such a way, publicly, in kind of an embarrassing, display. And so she turns around to leave. And then that's it for the episode, man. What an amazing episode, starting things off in kind of a really, some different emotions, that's for sure. You start things off in kind of a happy, emotional feel, and without it being, a whole episode, we see things go to totally opposite, that, okay, the Night King is defeated, but Cersei is, I guess, the final boss villain, right? She's the one that Daenerys has got to get through if she wants to take the Iron Throne. The Gold Company, of course, we don't even see in this one, I don't think. Not really. It's just the wall, so you don't really see them come out or anything. And we got to remember that they said 20,000 is what they said. So, crazy stuff, man. I love the episode. It was incredible all the way through. I love some of the character interactions and getting to see them happy for a little while. It didn't last very long, but I was enjoying it when we got to see them all drinking and having a good time and everything. And really sad when you see the arrows come up from you don't even know where, shot in such a way where you don't know, and that's the one that gets them. And Drogon almost went down, and Daenerys almost allowed her, her fury to go right into it, right? So she pulled off and realized, okay, she can't, she can't do it from the front because all the ships have them, and they're all, again, they found an answer to the dragon. So. Dragon armor, is she going to have time to throw some armor on Drogon and learn her lesson and say, okay, well, we're going to at least protect its torso, neck, that type of thing, throw some big sheets of armor. I don't know what you're going to do, but we'll see. A better answer, I would have thought, well, if you had both dragons and you want to do something unpredictable, it could have been cool if she could have just burnt the place at night, right? So everybody's sleeping, whatever, you're close by. They wouldn't expect it. Fly in, don't avoid the ships, don't go anywhere near the ships, because we already would have known that to start with, and just burn, if you had both, for example, before this had happened, fly in at night, burn the capital, burn all the buildings, find out where she is, right? Maybe you bring Tyrion with you or something, or you get him to tell you where, and just burn the whole place down. Then the next day come in and have everybody come through. Because she tries a softer approach. She tries to not to spare people so that not that many people die. But Cersei's there, and she's not going to allow it to go, and she should have probably known that ahead of time. Tyrion probably should have explained that to her ahead of time. But then again, Tyrion is sort of... He thinks more highly of Cersei than she deserves, right? And as such, he's not going to be... He doesn't realize how well, he got to kind of see it here that publicly she doesn't care, She might seem nice behind the scenes sometimes, but... in the open, she's almost as bad as Joffrey. Maybe not quite. So in terms of score for the episode, I'm going to give a perfect 10. I mean, I don't know what else you expect. We only have a few episodes left here, and I feel like they're really, they're bringing us a lot of stuff that's been set up for years, relationships even, Gendry, even with Arya and the others, Brienne, Jaime, and then, of course, Jon and Daenerys, and whatever's going to happen here with Cersei near the end, if they're going to somehow be able to take her out. But they're going to have to find a way to protect Drogon in the process so he doesn't get, speared down or arrow mowed down here, because he could, just like the other did. So let me know what you guys thought. How'd you feel about the episode? If you like this review, please thumb it up below. You can leave a comment below, share a favorite, subscribe. I got a new subscribe pillow. What do you guys think? It's nice, right? So subscribe, show me some love. Subscribe pillows, subscribe to the channel if you're new. That's it for this one, guys. Let's see you again soon for another Game of Thrones video in about half an hour with the predictions for episode 5. It's Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.